You know, a Japanese sword is so much more than just a weapon. It's a piece of art, really, a vessel of history and an object of pure legend. And every single one has a story, a signature, written right into the surface of its steel. So, let's find out how to read it.
But how do you even begin to read that story? What is it that truly makes a blade legendary? Is it the quality of the steel? The absolute genius of the smith who forged it? Or is it the weight of the stories that we tell about it? Well, the answer, as we're about to see, is kind of all three. And it's all hidden in the blade's own secret language.
To really understand the legend, first we have to look closer. And I mean microscopically close. We need to get a handle on the intricate patterns that are forged right into the steel itself.
And that brings us to this really crucial term, jihada. The easiest way to think about it is like the sword's unique fingerprint. It's that visible grain pattern in the steel, and it gets created when a smith repeatedly heats, hammers, and folds the metal to purify it and give it structure. Seriously, no two are ever exactly alike.
Okay, so you've probably heard that katanas are folded thousands or maybe even millions of times, right? Well, let me bust that myth for you. That's a classic misconception. In reality, the steel is only folded about 10 to 15 times. But because the layers double with every single fold, this process creates anywhere from 1,000 to over 30,000 distinct layers. That is what produces these incredible, intricate patterns.
So, what do these fingerprints actually look like? Well, first up is masame hada, the straight grain. You can see it's a pattern of direct, straight lines that run parallel to the edge. It just feels clean, practical, purposeful. It's a hallmark of the ancient Yamato tradition of sword making. Next, we have mokume hara, which is the burl grain. These irregular, swirling concentric circles look alive, don't they? Almost exactly like the patterns you'd find in a piece of burl wood. This beautiful, complex pattern was the signature of the incredibly prolific Bizan tradition. And here we've got itame hada, the wood grain. Now, this is the most common pattern you'll see, and it looks a lot like the grain on a wooden plank. It feels strong, grounded, but still full of subtle life. And this is a key one to remember because it's the pattern most often associated with the Soshu tradition, the school of the legendary Masamune himself. Some patterns are just unbelievably distinctive, like this one, Ayasugi Hara. I mean, look at those large, undulating waves. They're so unique that they became the exclusive trademark of a specific group of smiths known as the Gasan school. It's almost hypnotic to look at.
So we've seen the bold, and now we go to the subtle. This is nishiji hara, or pear skin. It's an extremely fine, almost invisible grain. It requires incredible skill to produce, and honestly, a perfect polish to even see it. This pattern is a sign of just incredible refinement, and it's found in the blades of the early Yamashiro schools.
And finally, we have Kanuka Hara, the rice bran pattern. Like the name suggests, it's a very fine, uniform texture, and it's the signature of blades made in the Heisen province. It's actually believed that the Heisen smiths were trying to copy that super refined pear skin pattern we just saw, and they ended up creating this unique style in the process.
So, you get it now, right? These 6 patterns, these jihada, they are not just for decoration. They are absolutely deliberate choices. They are the signatures of Japan's greatest sword-making schools, a way to identify a blade's origin and maybe even its creator without ever seeing a name.
This all comes together in what's known as the Gokaden, the 5 great traditions of Japanese sword-making. Each region developed its own unique style. The Yamato school, for instance, specialized in that straight, practical masame grain, while Bizan perfected the swirling mokume. But look there, Soshuden in Kanagawa, this is where Masamune worked. He was known for innovation and an active, dynamic jihada, very often that strong, grounded itame wood grain we just talked about. Okay, so now that you can read the steel, let's apply that knowledge to the greatest rivalry in sword history. It's a tale of 2 smiths whose reputations became as sharp and as different as the very blades they forged.
On one side, you have Goro Nudo Masamune, the divine artisan. He was the official swordsmith for the government, and his blades are seen as symbols of peace and purity. And then, on the other side, you have Muramasa, the cursed smith, a man whose blades were eventually banned by the shogun and became associated with madness and an uncontrollable bloodlust. He's the Mr. Hyde to Masamune's Dr. Jekyll.
The most famous legend that really crystallizes this rivalry is their duel at the river. As the story goes, the 2 smiths placed their finished blades into a flowing stream to test their quality.
Muramasa's sword was, well, terrifyingly effective. It sliced through every single dead leaf that floated by without distinction.
But when the leaves floated towards Masamune's blade, something totally different happened. The sword cut the leaves, sure, but it parted the water to spare the living fish swimming by. It showed a discerning quality, a soul even. It would only cut what needed to be cut.
A monk who was watching this whole thing delivered the final verdict. He said Muramasa's blade was indeed a fine and evil sword, but Masamune's was superior, for it refused to cut down the innocent and undeserving. So the whole point of the legend isn't just about sharpness, it's about the very character forged into the steel.
And while Masamune's reputation soared, Muramasa's, well, his spiraled into darkness. His name became synonymous with a cursed legacy, with these terrifying stories forged in the fear and political turmoil of feudal Japan.
The curse even had specific rules. Legends claimed a Muramasa blade wouldn't let itself be sheathed until it had drawn blood, even if it was the blood of its owner. The swords were linked to several accidental and suspicious deaths within the ruling Tokugawa clan, which eventually led to them being banned. Of course, that only made them more desirable to enemies of the shogunate. Some even said a wound from a Muramasa had a distinct, unnatural sting to it.
And here's how you know just how powerful that dark reputation became. Despite the undeniable quality and craftsmanship of his work, to this day, not a single sword made by Muramasa has ever been designated a national treasure of Japan. The curse's shadow lingers even now.
And what about Masamune's greatest work? Well, in a crazy twist of fate, the Hongjo Masamune, which is considered the finest Japanese sword ever made, has its own mystery. It was turned over to American authorities after World War II, and then it just vanished. The symbol of purity is lost, while the symbols of the curse remain.
Which leaves us with a final question. We learned to read the signatures in the steel, the jihada. But is a weapon's ultimate story, its legend of good or evil, truly forged in those thousands of folded layers? Or is it forged in the fears, the politics, and the hands of the people who wield it?